Tonight on CTV News at 6, a new direction.
That I was brought in as the new CAO and council and the public, we're looking for change.
We are learning more about the dismissal of senior staff at the City of Greater Sudbury. Poor conditions.
Looking for a good weather tomorrow to start the evacuation again.
Evacuations out of Coyote had to be put on hold today. And it's on the mend.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like 4 more just came out of nowhere, and they all had to run on her.
A Sudbury family's dog is attacked by a pack of coyotes.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you're with us on this Friday, January 9th. Wikwemicong Tribal Police have netted more than $30,000 in drugs and cash. Police say they responded to a report of an unwanted person on Wikwemicong Way last night. Police found him a short time later. Through their investigation, they seized $30,000 worth of cocaine and fentanyl, along with a substantial amount of cash. A 22-year-old from the Toronto area has been charged with break and enter as well as trafficking. The City of Greater Sudbury has terminated 6 employees without cause, as it says it's moving in a new direction. CTV's Alan Everson has the details.
Greater Sudbury CAO Sherry Lichterman talked to CTV about what led to the terminations of 5 management positions and 1 support staff. She calls them difficult decisions.
Over the last 10 months since I've been here, I've been working through some organizational changes to help improve how the city delivers services, and ultimately sometimes in order to move change forward, you have to change some personnel.
We have learned the terminated employees are Kevin Folk, General Manager of Corporate Services, David Shelstead, Director of Engineering Services, Melissa Rooney, Deputy Chief of Paramedic Services, Jesse O'Shell, Deputy Fire Chief, and 2 additional positions.
Well, really my reference to a new direction is about the fact that I was brought in as the new CAO and council and the public, we're looking for change, looking for us to do a better job in the way that we deliver our services, looking for us to manage our finances in a better way, find efficiencies.
City Councillor Natalie Labby says she has complete faith in the city's new CAO and the approach she took in this decision.
They're difficult decisions, but it's part of a broader direction from council since 2022 about where we wanted to see the city go with different departments. There's been a lot of restructuring happening over the last few years, and our new CAO has demonstrated a lot of professionalism and integrity.
City Councillor Bill Leduc says he will be asking for an investigation into the terminations.
We just recently lost our Auditor General, which would have been able to investigate the reasoning behind all of this.
I acted, well within the authority of my office and certainly with the support of Mayor and Council.
The city's CAO confirms the terminated employees are entitled to severance pay, which is currently being negotiated with each individual. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Evacuations were stopped today because of weather for some 2,200 people from Coyote. But as CTV's Angela Gemmel tells us, the community is working with partners to help residents.
After 5 flights Thursday, evacuations out of Coyote were halted Friday due to the weather. But the chief says the state of emergency is a public health concern for the entire population.
We're looking for a good weather tomorrow to start the evacuation again, and through the coming weekend and through the coming weeks.
Last weekend, the water treatment system failed, sending sewage into homes and contaminating the water supply. Indigenous Services Canada has sent technicians to help repair the failing infrastructure, but the chief isn't sure how long that will take.
We're hopeful that everything will be done. I'm not going to say the dates with the days but we're just waiting for that confirmation from them.
They are without potable water, and the community's only health clinic had to be moved to a temporary site after being flooded with sewage. While the clinic is open, it can only take emergencies at this time. It's why the chief wants a full community evacuation. Managing evacuations is the Lumex Group, the province's vendor for activations like this. They'll work to get spaces in Kapuskasing filled up before moving on to the next evacuation hub, which is being set up in Kingston.
I want to get these people to safety so they have some running water to bathe and drink and have a shower and, you know, all the everything that we enjoy every day. I want to see them out of there to get a break from that.
The First Nation continues to work with ISC to get all the problems rectified.
Keep going at it, keep pushing what needs to be done in our community.
Chief Wesley says he's extended an invitation to Indigenous Services Canada Minister Mandy Galmasti to come visit his community and see firsthand what the situation is like. He hasn't heard back. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
A Sudbury couple is sharing a terrifying story after the family dog was attacked by coyotes. It happened earlier this week. Details now from CTV's Lindsay Alick.
On Tuesday morning around 8:30 a.m., Taylor Knupchuk was outside with her two dogs when they began to bark. At first, she thought it was another dog in her yard, but she quickly realized it was a coyote. One of her dogs ran to her while the other took off.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like four more just came out of nowhere, and they all had the run on her.
She ran inside to get her brother-in-law, and they both started making as much noise as possible.
The only time they stopped is when he finally started his snow machine and kind of like made noise, and then they stopped for a split second.
It was enough for 6-year-old Dakota to escape, but not before being bitten several times. She was treated at the Walton Animal Hospital, where Dr. Carolyn LaRiviere has been a vet for 25 years. She says, unfortunately, coyote attacks are fairly common.
In Moonglow subdivision, one of our very good clients let his Springer Spaniels out into his fenced backyard. The coyote jumped the fence and attacked his dog Monty. They're not afraid of this environment that we live in. Neighborhoods are hunting grounds for them.
She says they will go after cats and dogs regardless of size, no matter the time of day.
The best thing to do in that scenario, one, always have your dog on a leash so that they don't go chasing the coyotes, because that's part of their game plan. Two, if they do come around, making yourself large, making yourself loud.
She says it's hard to know how many animals fall victim to attacks each year, but says this time of year is especially high for incidents.
Coyotes go into their mating season around mid-end of January all the way through April, and that's when they become very brazen. They're more aggressive than before.
The couple says they have tried reporting the sightings to the MNR, but haven't received a response. Meantime, when CTV reached out, we were told that municipalities lead local response to interactions. They simply support communities, providing guidance and best practices. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Canada Post issuing a red delivery alert today for Greater Sudbury, Timmins and surrounding areas. A red delivery alert means all mail delivery is suspended. Canada Post blames severe weather conditions as the cause for delayed delivery. It's also reminding the public to clear their walkways, driveways and any stairs that lead to your door or mailbox. Okay, it's time for your first check on weather. And are things going to get nasty out there? With that answer, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Off the top, Tony, probably not. Not nearly as wet as it was overnight, but we're done with the rain. We're into the snow. Nice transition. So I wouldn't say nasty. First take on weather, taking a look at our systems map for tomorrow. We've got some snow flurries coming up in Greater Sudbury, 5 to 10 centimeters, and in North Bay as well. Some scattered flurries around the northeast, but we're done with the rain for the most part. Now we move on to some flurry activity over the course of the next couple of days, and some colder temperatures creeping in by about midweek. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. The city of Timmins posting this video late yesterday afternoon of what it says is a snow removal crew in its natural habitat. According to the Post, it takes 70 seconds to fill one truck, and crews removed another 678 loads of snow. Snow removal like this is expected to continue for the next few weeks. Multi-million-dollar renovation. Still to come on CTV News at 6. A North Bay area school is expanding. But first, let's head to the dock in Parry Sound. This live webcam is from Northern Creations. It's 2 Celsius. We'll return in just a few minutes.
Fuel your Fridays with CTV and Pure Country. Enter online for a chance to win a $100 gas gift card. Fuel your Fridays. Powered by CAA. Life isn't one size fits all. Neither is CAA.
And congratulations to this week's winner. It is Ida Marie Polifroni. Well, the city of Elliott Lake today posted an update on the Rogers Arena project. It posted these photographs saying several projects were completed, including new weeping tile and rigid insulation on the east side of the building. Studs, ledger beams, and cross braces have also been replaced on that side of the rink. Renovation work has also begun on the lobby and change rooms. According to the Post, the city says work on the east curtain wall will continue with hopes of completion in 3 months. Once the wall is completed, the roof and flooring will be the next priorities. A major expansion is coming to an elementary school in Callander, just outside of North Bay. CTV's Eric Tashner has details on the planned renovations.
A true gift.
For years, the Nipissing Parry Sound Catholic District School Board has seen the region outside of North Bay grow. And with that comes a huge demand for classroom and childcare space.
It's a necessity almost to really expand this school. Enrollment in Catholic schools across the province is increasing.
The Ontario government is setting aside $9.4 million to add a new wing to St. Teresa Catholic School, creating over 90 new student classroom spaces and 3 new childcare rooms with over 53 new licensed childcare spaces.
Ontario recognizes the vital role that accessible childcare plays in supporting families across the province.
As a Catholic education community, we often say to one another, we live in hope. And it's moments like this one that remind us why we do.
The expansion is a welcome sign for the Catholic Board, and it comes at a time when the local public board, the beleaguered Near North District School Board, is under provincial control. Fideli says the difference is black and white.
They're cooperative, they're understanding, they obviously share things with their families that are involved. And then you see the other side, the other school board, who did none of the above.
St. Teresa currently has about 365 students enrolled at it. The school board saw the need for a future expansion about a decade ago, and 3 years ago it began to mobilize for it.
This summer, I think in August, we really put our feet on the ground to get the thing going.
The board is also looking at giving facelifts to other schools it controls. Expansion construction will start in the spring and is anticipated to end in December 2027. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Callander.
A stinky problem involving the Parry Sound High School appears to have been resolved. Near North District School Board announcing custodial staff have cleaned and disinfected the impacted areas of the school. The school was unexpectedly closed yesterday due to what the school says was a blockage in the town sewer line, which in turn caused a backup into the school. The school has been under a lot of scrutiny after board officials failed to complete the new facility for the start of the year. The province announced more than $1.3 million to boost economic development projects in Timmins. As CTV's Lydia Chubak reports, 2 of the companies are Indigenous owned.
To make this announcement because it's a good...
The Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth made the funding announcement. George Peary says the money will be divvied up among 4 recipients. 3 are business owners and the other is the Matagami Region Conservation Authority. It's getting $130,000 so it can rejuvenate the 5-kilometer-long Rotary Trail.
It's a little wetter in spots and it's hard to maintain, especially after the summer we had last year with some of the rain, right? The fall was beautiful, so we were able to get some of that work done. But we're going to resurface the trail and hopefully raise it in some areas and provide some just a little drier substrate so it's easier to walk on.
Quality Contracting plans to use the $261,000 to purchase some commercial vehicles and equipment, and 2 other Indigenous-owned businesses plan to invest their money in renovations. Gord's Rentals, owned by Attawapiskat Enterprises, is receiving $781,000.
One of the purposes of our companies is to help sustain employment of Indigenous peoples. So now we can also increase our mechanics trainings and our services and our shops and all those different things as well.
It's quite the process for this application, and essentially a couple of years ago we put in for what we're sitting here today, right? So. But essentially, at the same time, it's still beneficial because what it allows us to do is put money, it matches our investment into our future renovations of our new shop.
Peary is encouraging more companies to submit applications for funding.
The whole budget for the Heritage Fund, the Northern Ontario Heritage Funding Corporation, is $110 million a year. And we're oversubscribed by about 2/3. So we have to have a very rigorous process in place to ensure that all these applications are vetted properly, to ensure that all these communities, in fact, are treated fairly.
Peary says the NOHFC makes about 7 bulk funding announcements a year. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Now to Queen's Park, where the province has announced it is suing Keel Digital Solutions for what it calls fraudulent misrepresentation. That same company is at the center of the Skills Development Fund scandal. CTV Siobhan Morris has the details.
The Ford government wants $27 million from Keel Digital Solutions. For 3 years, funding flowed from the Ministry of Colleges and Universities for an online program to offer mental health support to students. The government now accuses the company of deceit and obstruction, of inflating the number of help sessions to drive up its payout. In a filing with Ontario's Superior Court, the government writes, the false reports caused the Crown to pay the corporate defendants millions of dollars that they otherwise would not have been paid. The government's claims haven't been tested in court. Last month, the OPP's anti-rackets branch launched an investigation into this. Keel has denied wrongdoing and says a counterclaim is coming. In a statement, their COO calls the government suit deeply flawed, built on misstatements and outright inaccuracies, stressing that Keel Digital has never been involved in any fraudulent activity, and they fully expect the government to be compelled to retract its claims, apologize, and answer for the recklessness and malice that drove this case. This suit puts the spotlight back on the Minister of Labour and the $2.5 billion Skills Development Fund.
Speaker, we don't need anyone on this side of the House to tell us to support our first responders, to support their training, to support their mental health.
Puccini's admitted to boosting Keel's low-scoring application for cash. The suit makes clear the money went out the door after a deep dive into the company's billing had begun.
It doesn't make a lot of sense for one ministry to issue or to launch an audit into a company and then for another ministry to give them $7 million. That's either incompetence or corruption.
Puccini's rinkside outing and a trip to Paris to spend time with Keel-connected friends have been under scrutiny. The Premier said this week he has no plans to move his minister.
With any program that large, there's going to be tweaks, and that's what we're going to do. And do I have confidence in David Puccini? Yes, I do.
Baffling to the Liberals.
How can the minister still be there? The minister's still there because the Premier is actively engaged, and his government, in covering this up.
Puccini is under investigation by Ontario's Integrity Commissioner, checking if he broke any ethics rules in awarding taxpayer funds. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Back now for a check on your current conditions with Rick.
True low pressure, high pressure in northeastern Ontario. Forecast radar now, we get rid of one system with all kinds of rain and some colder temperatures and more snow coming up by tomorrow evening in some sectors of the northeast. Again, we'll check out those temperatures during the 7-day forecast, but current temperatures right now with the wind chill in effect: Moosonee -12, Cochrane -14, Timmins -4, and Kapuskasing at -15. Chapleau -9 this hour, Wawa -5, and Sault Ste. Marie some light precipitation at -5. In Parry Sound, some light rain, -4 degrees. Meanwhile, in North Bay, -7, the same for Temiskaming Shores with light rain, and Kirkland Lake at -8. Greater Sudbury, Nickel Belt -4, -3 in Espanola, Elliott Lake at -4, and Gore Bay predominantly clear skies at -3. We'll check out the 7-day forecast and the pick of the day, all coming up just a couple of minutes away. Tony, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. A new target in his sights. Next on CTV News at 6. U.S. President Trump is zeroing in on drug cartels in Mexico. And so many people are sick right now because of the flu, especially in Alberta. Donald Trump is talking tough on Mexico, signaling land strikes are coming against drug cartels in that country. This after the U.S. said it believed cartels were in Canada, too. CTV's Judy Trin now with the Mexican response and the growing risks for Canada.
Donald Trump claimed the capture of Nicolas Maduro was about stopping narco-terrorism. Now Trump is signaling he may send American troops onto Mexican soil.
We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water, and we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico.
Este plan de acción. Mexico has previously turned down Trump's offer of military intervention, but is concerned Trump will act on his own, like he did in Venezuela.
And I think for Canada, that's also dangerous. Don't forget that when we started this year, a lot of the discussion was around quote unquote fentanyl flows across borders. And he lumped Canada and Mexico into the same basket.
The U.S. has declared 8 cartels terror organizations. 7 of them are based in Mexico. During his meeting with Sheinbaum last September, the Prime Minister acknowledged some of them operate in Canada.
With respect to transnational crime, organized crime, cartels, gangs. The unfortunate fact is that there are gangs from one country in another country, but also vice versa.
In recent months, Mexico and Canada have stepped up efforts to disrupt trafficking networks, including raids to close in on Ryan Wedding, an alleged Canadian cocaine kingpin, believed to be protected by the Sinaloa cartel. On social media, the White House warned, F around and find out. After Venezuela, after threats to invade Greenland, and now Mexico, analysts say Canada could be most exposed.
If you are weak, and you are doing stuff Trump doesn't like, and you can be an ally or you can be an adversary, right? You can be Canada or you can be Venezuela, but you get FAFO'd.
In a recent interview with the New York Times, Trump said that he's not constrained by international law or Congress, but by his own morality. He says that's the only thing that can stop him. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has declared today to be a day of unity as protests continue following the shooting of 37-year-old Renee Good.
We need Minnesota to carry out this investigation to make sure that the professionals at the BCA and the local law enforcement who's in charge of law enforcement make sure we do the investigation.
It has triggered outrage and has led to protests in Minneapolis and across the United States. The Trump administration says Renee Good, quote, weaponized her vehicle to run over ICE agents. Local officials dispute that account and are calling for the officer involved to be investigated. The Canada Revenue Agency says it's still owed more than $10 billion in COVID benefits paid to people later deemed ineligible. But for some Canadians who say they applied in good faith, the effort to recover that money is now taking a toll. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has that story.
For 27 years, Dawn Barton has worked as a hairstylist. But when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, she says she was forced to stop working because of restrictions. So like thousands of others, she applied for CERB, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit.
When I applied for EIs, it redirected me instantly to the CERB program. So I just assumed that that was where I was supposed to be.
She also applied for the Canada Recovery Benefit and the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. In total, she received $17,000 during the shutdowns. Now she's been asked to pay it all back.
I needed this income. I had a family to feed.
According to the Canada Revenue Agency, she wasn't eligible for CERB because she earned more than $1,000 of income during the applicable payment period, which she denies. As for the other two benefits, the CRA says she did not have a 50% reduction in her average weekly income compared to the previous year.
Hairstylists don't, a lot of us don't get paid by the hour. We get paid by commission, so our pays fluctuate. So it's really something that I feel like the CRA should take into consideration.
And she's not alone. The CRA says it's owed more than $10 billion in relief benefits from Canadians who didn't qualify.
It's a very common thing, and obviously a lot of people got CERB, and the rules were not entirely clear when it was granted, and some people are now being asked to pay it back because the government has decided that they didn't qualify.
As for Barton, she says she's appealed the decision and been denied twice, but doesn't understand why. She says CRA has already begun clawing back money, withholding tax refunds and other benefits until the full amount is paid.
I've had to visit food banks. I've had to ask for loans. And this amount of money, which is roughly about $7,000 they've taken from me this year alone, could have really helped keep my head above water.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Well, I certainly hope you're ready for the weekend and the change in weather and the conditions. We go from rain to, well, snow in some sectors for tomorrow. For instance, in Greater Sudbury and North Bay, 5 to 10 centimeters by tomorrow evening. We've got flurries over the course of the day and flurries in other areas, but North Bay and Sudbury, the big targets. Let's take a look at what's happening overnight. Chance of flurries in Greater Sudbury, more of the same in the Sault, Timmins, and some flurry activity. Timiskaming Shores at 2 to 4 centimeters. North Bay, again, snow, rain, and the flurry activity as well. Meanwhile, overnight, Moosonee, snow and flurries, minus 15. Caphurst, chance of flurries, Wawa and Gorbet. Overcast, Parry Sound at minus 7. 7-day numbers now. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, chance of flurries for tomorrow. Again, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow tomorrow evening, minus 6. Then we have the chance of flurries for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Switching over to the chance of snow and colder weather at minus 11 degrees. In Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, periods of snow, a few centimeters of snow over the course of the day and into the evening. Sunday, chance of flurries, more of the same on Monday and Tuesday. Then the chance of snow, it cools down somewhat to minus 7, your expected high, with the chance of snow at 60%. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, mainly cloudy tomorrow, minus 7. Sunday, chance of flurries, minus 14. Chance of flurries Monday and Tuesday. Then the chance of snow come Wednesday on the changeover, where it gets colder, but you've got snow at 60%. Your high, minus 15 for the day. Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, mainly cloudy tomorrow at minus 5. Chance of flurries on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. Then here we go, Wednesday, right across the board, across the Northeast anyway. We've got the chance of snow and colder weather. Your expected high around minus 14. Your low will be minus 21 degrees. And of course, that exceeds the normal for this time of the year, which is hovering at around minus 10. So again, a sudden or maybe even an abrupt change in terms of weather by midweek next week right across the Northeast. North Bay and West Nipissing, chance of flurries for tomorrow. Now tomorrow evening, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow as well. Minus 3 your expected high. Chance of snow on Sunday, chance of flurries Monday and Tuesday. And here we are. We've got the chance of snow on Wednesday and some cooler temperatures. This time we go from minus 4 and minus 2 to a daytime high of only minus 12. Your evening low will be minus 19 degrees, and the chance of snow once again on Thursday with a high of minus 10, which exceeds your normal at minus 8 degrees. So a big change coming weather-wise, condition-wise, and temperature-wise by about midweek next week. Let's check out our pick of the day. Diane Tremblay from Field, wolf or coyote? Okay. Have a look at the pics. Wolves are much larger, heavier, and more robust than coyotes, with blockier snouts, broader faces, and rounder ears. Coyotes are smaller, slimmer, and have narrow, pointed faces and ears. You make the call, wolf or coyote. Tony has more news coming up after the break.
Most people have a plan for how they want to live, but few have a plan for how they want to say goodbye. A Sudbury woman is joining a growing movement of professionals looking to change the conversation by offering death doula services and launching death cafes in the Northeast. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
Ashley LaBelle is a death doula, otherwise known as an end-of-life doula. She found her calling following the loss of her sister, who was the first heart-in-a-box donor in Northeastern Ontario.
I was that safe space that was non-judgmental, that my entire family was able to come to, you know, be sad, be mad, scream, do what they had to do. And when I did see that there was such thing now out there in Canada and around the world as a death doula, I was like, you know what, this is my calling.
As a death doula, she isn't there to provide medicine, but to provide a map, offering practical advocacy, legacy planning, and emotional support.
This is another resource with regard to breaking down barriers. There's been, for many, many years, likely decades, if not centuries, this whole taboo about we don't talk about death. Well, it's an inevitable part of the human journey. So the more information we have, the more people are empowered to make good decisions and also to provide good support.
It's a role that is gaining interest. LaBelle says the profession has tripled across Canada over the past 3 years. Laurentian University offers one of the country's few accredited programs.
Because we're starting to normalize the conversations around death and dying well, people are becoming more interested and curious and wanting to be able to support in a much more holistic manner.
To bring those conversations to the light, LaBelle is launching monthly death cafes in Sudbury and bi-monthly in North Bay. It's a space to talk openly over coffee and cake.
We all want to have a good birth. We all want to give birth to our kids, you know, in a good way. Why is it not okay for us to die well? And the Death Cafe part is to be able to talk about that.
The Death Cafe will be held at the Lougheed Funeral Home in Hanmer on Tuesday, January 13th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Admission is free, but donations are welcome. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Toronto Public Health is kicking off the new year with a reminder about getting vaccinated to help stop the spread of Mpox. The health department tells CTV News that nearly half of confirmed and probable cases in the city last year were among people who were unvaccinated. Ontario reported 145 Mpox infections in the first 9 months of 2025, most of them in Toronto, and Public Health says local transmission is still happening. Health professionals say anyone can fall ill if exposed, usually through close contact. Officials say they're encouraging eligible residents to get both doses of Mpox vaccine if they have yet to do so. The early and intense rise of flu cases this season has put a major strain on emergency rooms right across the country. Alberta doctors are even asking for a state of emergency to be declared. However, the number of new cases appears to be falling. CTV's Abigail Beeman digs into the numbers.
We just don't have the ability to look after the people who walk through our doors.
The situation in Alberta hospitals is so dire, the Alberta Medical Association wants the province to declare a state of emergency. It comes just weeks after this 44-year-old father died after allegedly waiting 8 hours for care in the ER.
People are not surprised to wait 16, 18, 24 hours to be seen with a medical emergency in an emergency department. If that isn't a state of emergency, I don't know what is.
The government says the calls are misguided and measures the exceptionally busy system has taken are in line with past winters, including canceling some scheduled surgeries. Meanwhile, new national flu numbers up to January 3rd show the percentage of positive tests is down, outbreaks are down, and hospitalizations are stable. But at this Northern Ontario hospital, where the flu has forced patients into dining rooms and hallways for the first time in a long time, a drop in flu cases alone won't solve the problem.
Waiting in hospital for alternate discharge locations, limited primary care in the community, and the aging population and comorbidities are still impacting our volumes.
Ottawa, too, forced to use dining rooms and hallways.
We are certainly experiencing a surge of patient volumes, and it is largely related to potentially influenza, but also complications related to influenza.
While Newfoundland and Labrador now reporting 2 flu deaths, with the latest case numbers 3 times higher than the 5-year average.
We've certainly seen a little bit of an uptick in flu cases over the past week or so.
Across the country, cases among those aged 19 and younger, previously leading the way, have dropped off sharply, while cases among those 65 and older have soared. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Some teams were buying while another was selling. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. In hockey this week, Rick Wyman and Brian Cooper break down the deals by Northern OHL teams before the trade deadline.
Hockey This Week is brought to you by Rastall Nut and Bolt Company. It's been a busy week for hockey fans across Northern Ontario. All three teams in the OHL have been busy making trades, and to find out more about one trade in particular, Sudbury Wolves home play-by-play broadcaster Brian Cooper, my good friend, to tell us more about Nathan Villeneuve and local boy Alex Ferrat heading south to Windsor for a ton of picks, and J.C. Lemieux, who we hope to see on the ice this coming weekend. What are your thoughts?
Well, isn't the OHL trade deadline just so much fun, right? There's always so many unexpected twists and turns, and there were a lot of questions with the Sudbury Wolves roster. Would they be buyers? Would they be sellers at the deadline? And didn't take long for Villeneuve, the captain of the Wolves, and Alex Ferrat, the hometown kid. I think that's the part that might maybe be the, hurt the most for fans, seeing him go, but they are going to a contending team in the Western Conference in the Windsor Spitfires. I think it's a huge opportunity for them, and what the Wolves got in return is also massive as you look to the future of this club, even, looking ahead to next season. So I think for Villeneuve, fans are really going to miss him as well. Fans are going to miss Ferrat, but as for what they get in return, it's huge. It's huge for Sudbury, and again, a great opportunity for those two guys going to the Western Conference.
Fact or fiction, is this enough, at least with Lemieux in the lineup and maybe the absence of Ferrat and Villeneuve, for the Wolves to still make the playoffs?
Well, it's interesting because you look at the Wolves play in the last month, let's say, last month and a half, even just before Christmas, compared to how it started. The season started not very, very good, but they've been winning. They have been winning as of late. They've had a winning record, and things have been looking up. They've been getting productivity from all of their lines, essentially. Things have been heating up. So yes, you subtract Alex Ferrat, Nate Villeneuve, you wonder, okay, how's that going to affect the team chemistry? They've added a few players as well, and really curious to see this Lemieux hit the roster as well. So I would say yes, there is a good chance that the Wolves could make the postseason, maybe squeak in their 8th, 7th spot. Even higher, of course, if things can go really, really well for the next couple of months, but time will certainly tell. But I would say right now, things still look good for Sudbury.
Okay, Carter George going from Owen Sound to Sault Ste. Marie for a lot of picks. I'm thinking that the Greyhounds are real serious about challenging in the West. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's funny. You and I talked about this off the air, too. The Greyhounds always find a way. This is a massive deal for them. And you talk about a confident goaltender in Carter George, coming off of the World Juniors, of course, bronze medalist, a lot of experience outside of the Ontario Hockey League. So he brings a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, and just a wealth of confidence in between the pipes. And for the Greyhounds, who I feel like not many people have been keeping their eye on in the Western Conference this year, this is huge as you look. I mean, we're early January, February not that far away, March. This is massive looking long-term for the Sioux Greyhounds in the Western Conference, especially at the end of the season.
Okay, quickly, Hayden Barch and, of course, Sebastian Gervais going to North Bay. This is, I think, maybe a trade for the future.
I would agree. North Bay Battalion kind of been riding the middle of the pack. And I think if you're the battalion, you're obviously hoping for the best, clearly. Bolstering your roster a little bit. Great series recently between Sudbury and North Bay. But again, this looks up for them, especially heading into next season.
Okay, thanks for doing this, and we'll see you on the ice very shortly. Of course, that's Hockey This Week. For this week, talking OHL, we're back in 7 days with more.
Thanks for that, Rick. And the Sudbury Wolves making a deadline day deal. Kieran Walton and a 7th-round pick are headed to Peterborough. In exchange, the Wolves pick up 5 priority selections along with a defenseman. It was a great Thursday night for hockey in North Bay as the battalion played host to the league-leading Ottawa 67s.
Here's Petrie, Amadovsky, and he's upended. Puck at the side of the net. Federhoff kept it out.
A lot of nail-biters, including that one. Some pressure there from the hometown team. Late in the second period, the troops send the 67s packing, winning this one 4-2. Tonight, the Troops are headed south to take on the Brampton Steelheads. That game is a 7 o'clock start. The Ottawa 67s travel to Sault Ste. Marie to face off against the Greyhounds, who could be a formidable team after some big moves this week. That game starts at 7:07, and it'll be a dogfight in Sudbury tonight as the Wolves play host to the Niagara Ice Dogs. Puck drop is 7:05. In the NOJHL, the Sudbury Cubs shot down the Powassan Voodoos in a 9-2 victory last night. The Cubs are in Noelville tonight to take on the French River Rapids, while the Voodoos will play at home against the Espanola Paper Kings. Both games are 7 o'clock starts. The Kirkland Lake Gold Miners are in Timmins to take on the Rock, who have been chasing the Sudbury Cubs for top spot in the league. They'll be looking for a big 2 points tonight. The Blind River Beavers are in Sioux, Michigan to face off against the Eagles. Both those games start at 7:30. Team Canada's women's hockey team was named this afternoon, and the team comes with a lot of Olympic experience. All but 7 players have competed at 1 or more Olympic Games. 16 of them were part of the gold medal team at the Beijing Games in 2022. Marie-Philippe Poulin was named to the squad, which will mark Milano Cortina her 5th Olympic Games. Among those making their Olympic debut is New York Sirens netminder Kaylee Osborne, who is one of the top goalies in the PWHL, and Seattle Torrance forward Julia Gosling, who has tallied 8 points in just 9 games. For a full look at the roster, visit our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. A documentary about comedy legend Mel Brooks is headed to the small screen, and the return of the Puppy Bowl has David Daniel going into the dogs in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Now, why did you become a comedian? Sex. I see.
The one and only Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, the 99-year-old man, looks at the comedy legend's extraordinary life and career, featuring new interviews and rare archival footage. The 2-part documentary premieres January 22nd on HBO and HBO Max.
What the hell going on? Oh, we heard tale of a party.
Nominations are out for the Directors Guild of America Film Awards. Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. The 78th Annual DGA Awards take place February 7th.
I'm sailing away.
This year's Puppy Bowl is set. It's Team Rough versus Team Fluff, plus 15 pups with special needs, and Team Oldies versus Team Goldies, spotlighting senior dogs available for adoption. 150 dogs from more than 70 shelters take the field February 8th on Animal Planet. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The unemployment rate moved up in December, even though new jobs were added to the economy. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
The rate moved to 6.8% in December, up from 6.5% in November. 8,200 jobs were added, but there were more people looking for work, which is why the rate moved up. Science and technical jobs were lost in December, but manufacturing jobs were gained. Statistics Canada also reported a reversal in youth employment, which includes young people between the ages of 15 and 24. In October and November, there were 70,000 jobs created, but that segment lost more than 25,000 jobs in December. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.87. West Texas Intermediate is up just under $1 to 58.74. Western Canadian Select is up over $1 to 42.66. And the TSX gained another 234 points today for a 3rd record close for the week. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $31.50, closing the day at $45.09.10 US an ounce. Silver moved forward $2.93 to end the day at $79.91. Copper up 12 cents to $5.95, and nickel up 42 cents, ending the day at $8.34 US a pound. And I have the pleasure of providing you with the Saturday weather forecast. Let's start in Sudbury, where it'll be, well, flurry activity -6 is the daytime high. In through Timmins, -7 and overcast conditions. For Sault Ste. Marie, -3 and about 2 centimeters of snow. As we head on over to North Bay, -3 and some snow flurry activity. Overcast skies right at the freezing mark, 0 for Parry Sound, and Timiskaming Shores, -5 and overcast skies. Finally, on this Friday, with all the precipitation lately, we've decided to close out our show with this song from BJ Thomas, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Enjoy, good night, and have a great weekend.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turned